Hi guys, I am Neil and this is my first video tutorial. And today, I'm gonna tackle about ER diagram or entity relationship diagram of a hospital management system, specifically in the meeting section. So come on, let's start. To understand all the concepts of ER diagram, we must first know what is meant by ER diagram. So, ER diagram are visual tools that are used in the entity relationship model to create a uniform convention that considers both relational database and network views. The first figure of ER diagram symbols is the entity. An entity can be a person, place, event, or object that is relevant to a given system. Entities are represented in ER diagrams by a rectangular and named using a singular nouns. The second one is the weak entity, an entity that depends on the existence of another entity. In more technical terms, it can be defined as an entity that cannot be identified by its own attributes. It uses a foreign key combined with its attribute to form the primary key. An entity like order item is a good example for this. The next one is the associative entity. It's a term used in a relational and entity relationship theory. A relational database requires the implementation of a base relation to resolve many-to-many relationships. And the next one is the attribute. An attribute is a property, trait, or characteristic of an entity, relationship of another attribute. An entity can have as many attributes as necessary. So these are called composite attributes. Note that some top-level ER diagrams do not show attributes for the sake of simplicity. The next one is the multi-valued attribute. If an attribute can have more than one value, it is called a multi-valued attribute. It is important to note that this is different to an attribute having its own attributes. Then, the derived attribute. An attribute based on another attribute. This is found very rarely in ER diagrams. So the next is the relationship. A relationship describes how entities interact, or how the two entities interact with each other. Then lastly, the weak relationship, or the recursive relationship. If the same entity participates more than once in a relationship, it is known as recursive relationship. So, here we go. I already finished the ER diagram admitting section. So, I only used three symbols, which is the entity, the attribute, and the relationship. So, in our diagram, it shows that we have four entities: the patient, the medical records, the hospital, and the doctor. So, the patient has attributes: the patient's ID, the patient's name, the patient's address, and the patient's gender. Patient has a relationship in the hospital. That's why we use admitted in. Hospital has the attributes: hospital ID, hospital name, hospital address, hospital contact number, and hospital license number. And hospital has a doctor. And a doctor has an attribute of doctor's name, doctor's schedule, doctor's ID, doctor's specialization, and the doctor's address. And for the medical records, patient has a relationship with medical records. Medical records has the attributes of records ID, date of examination, patient diagnosis, and patient's physician. Hey guys, what's up? Thank you for watching my very first video tutorial on YouTube. Just follow me back and I follow you. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.